So the last thing I'm going to talk about are something called transformations, and we're going to be talking about reflections on the coordinate grid. So you noticed in the first two pictures on the title of the lesson, a reflection, and a reflection is nothing more than, like it says, a mirror image of something. So in order to do this, I have your notes to the right and the example to the left. So the first thing that you're supposed to do when you're given a situation like this is you're going to label all the points on the graph with the correct letters. So let's go ahead and do that. So I have my points labeled, and now I want to talk about what this is. So when you're talking about this image right here, this image ABC, this triangle ABC, this original picture is called the pre-image. It's where we begin. It's where we start, pre. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to highlight the axis you'll be reflecting across. Now, in 6th grade math, you reflect across either the x or the y axis. When you get up into higher levels of math, you highlight across, reflect across lines, but we're just going to be reflecting across axes. So now I'd like you to highlight the axis you'll be reflecting across. So when we read through the problem, down here at the bottom, it says we're going to reflect the shape over the x-axis, and the x-axis goes across. So x goes across. So I'm going to highlight right there, that line right there. And I'm doing that because it's going to help me to remember that my shape, when it's going to be reflected across that, is going to be flipping over top of that. So in some places you might hear of a reflection being called a flip. So let's add the word flip up here at the top. Now it's not really a flip, but that's what the shape is going to be doing. It's going to be going kind of like flopping over that line. So a reflection is a flip, and the way you can remember that is it has an FL in it, and so does the word flip. All right, so then it says you're going to count the distance from each point to the axis. So if I go here to point A, if I start at my origin, point A is at 3, 4. So that means I'm going to go 3 to the right and 4 up. So in my directions, it says count the same distance in the opposite direction. So instead of going 3 to the right and 4 up, I'm going to be going 3 to the right and 4 down. And that's where my new point is going to go. So 3 and then 4. So my new point, my new A, is going to go right there. And that new A, we can't call it new A, that's not proper. But that A, which is going to go right there, is going to be called A with like an apostrophe up behind it. And that's read A prime. So A prime is located at 3, -4. Right now we're going to do B prime. So I'm going to start at my origin. I'm going to count out 8, and then I'm going to count up 2. That's where B is. So B prime, because I'm reflecting across the x-axis, I'm going to count out 8, and I'm going to go down 2. And that's going to be B prime right there. So let's put that right here. And the way that I write that is I write the letter B with my little apostrophe. So B prime. So B prime, we decided, was at 8, -2. And then C prime, the pre-image C, was at 10, 10. So C prime is going to be at 10, -10. It's going to be right here. 10, -10, and that's C prime. So 10, -10. So the first where I began, the original picture was the pre-image. The new figure is called the image. So that's easy to remember. Pre means before, so before the image, image, okay. And now I need you to look, please, at the coordinates. So the original coordinates were 3, 4. Image coordinates, 3, -4. Pre-image coordinates, 8, 2. Image coordinates, 8, -2. Image pre-image, 10, 10. Image, 10, -10. So you should notice that there's something going on with your coordinates. And so what's happening with the coordinates is that the y coordinates are opposite. So when you reflect across the x-axis, it flips your y's because it's going to turn the shape over. And if I connect these points and I look at it, even though I'm drawing with my finger, it's bad, you can see that it is the mirror image of it. So what you could do is you put your hands up in front of you with your thumbs pointing towards your nose. And then when you flip your hands out and your thumbs are facing each other, that's a reflection. So put your hands together and then flip them out. There's your reflection. So let's look at the next part of our notes, which are here. And the first thing you're going to do is label all the points on your graph with the correct letters. Okay, so I've got all of the points labeled, and then I'm going to highlight the axis I'm going to be reflecting across. So my pre-image is trapezoid ABCD, and now my image is going to be A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime, or ABCD prime. Okay, and so we're going to highlight our axis. We're reflecting across the Y. Remember, the Y goes high. So I'm going to draw my highlighter on my y-axis, and then I'm going to count. So to get to A, I would have gone 4 to the right and 5 down. So to get to A prime, I'm going to go 4 to the left and then 5 down. So there is my point A prime. And then to get to B, I would have gone 6 to the right and 3 down. So since I'm reflecting across the y-axis, I'm going to go 6 to the left and 3 down. So there's B prime. And then to get to C, 10 to the right, 6 down. To get to C prime, 10 to the right, 6 down. And finally, D is 5 to the right, 10 down. So 5 to the left, 10 down. And here is my new, oh, this is horrible. Let me change that a little bit. Hang on. Okay, let me get my lines. All right, so I can go from here. Whoopsies. I'm having a hard time here. All right, let me try to do my lines. All right, so I'll go there, to there, to there, to there. Still not very good, but you get the idea. All right, so this is, so A prime, we said was going to be at -4, -5. B prime was at -6, -3. C prime was at -10, -6. And D prime was at -5, -10. My new figure is called the image, or ABCD prime. And when I look at the original coordinates, you should have noticed that when I reflect across the Y, the X coordinates are opposite. All right, so there's a song. It goes like this. Transformations create images. You need to label prime. It's pre-image to image. It works great every time. Reflection is a flip. Your shape will take a trip. Highlight the line and take your time to count away from it. Transformations create images. You need to label prime. It's pre-image to image. It works great every time. Reflection is a flip. Your shape will take a trip. Highlight the line and take your time to count away from it. All right, so there are 2 more that you need to do. So I will get these answered up, pause the video, and come back and check your work. All right, so check your work against mine. Notice that on point B, actually made a little mistake here. Point B doesn't change. It stays point B, and that's because point B is an x-intercept. So it's not going to be B prime. It's just going to stay B because that's being shared on that x-axis. So make sure that you've got that. So these are the answers. And you can see better now that I've used the better drawing tool that these are reflections over those lines. So go ahead and copy this down, and then go ahead and do a worksheet that looks very much like this worksheet The answers follow. And then once you've done that, there are 2 different IXLs we'd like you to do, and they're both 8th grade skills. So when you type them in, make sure you precede what you're going to be doing with the 8 and then the letters of the skills. And then, of course, you're going to do your exit ticket, and then there's a big coordinate grid final, like giant exit ticket at the very end. So thanks for your attention, and I hope you enjoyed this.